shoes, left and right. Which came first? Also, fingernails. Are they related to toenails? You might find out about this on I Don't Know About That with Jim Jefferies. Hi, welcome to the Scientist and the Bear and Kelly. That's our new radio show.
I'm the scientist?
I'm the scientist. I got a goatee and some...
I'm a scientist.
You're a bear. You're a bear, though.
I have a degree.
Everyone looks at you and goes, that's a bear.
Yeah.
Not in the gay sexual way.
No,
that's
that's...
regular sexual way.
That's my nickname.
In a gay sexual way, too.
My girlfriend's nickname is that she calls me something bear, always. Both bear, beach
well, also,
bear,
I could have been the bear,
bear,
too, Kelly Bear.
No, something bear. It's got words before and afterwards. It's I can't and you.
I don't get it.
About it.
I can't bear you.
Fuck
off, everybody. This is why Ellen has problems.
We're back to this.
It's when you've got subordinates that don't laugh at your bear jokes. Ellen started out that show with good intentions.
Let me tell you the problem.
She was like, I'm about to dance. And then she danced. And then someone like you, Forrest, came and ruined it and went, maybe you shouldn't dance so much. And she said, stop looking at me.
The great thing about us mentioning Ellen on this show is we did it 2 podcasts ago.
Yeah.
But we recorded that podcast at a different time.
Yeah.
Where, and then
Hashtag free Ellen.
Yeah. This podcast is currently happening at a certain time, but will come out 2 weeks later. So Ellen could be dead.
Unless Ellen's killed someone or said the N-word or something. Oh, I'm Team Ellen. Now, I got to tell you, Ellen's the only show. Oh, no, there's one other show. There's 2 shows. James Corden's never had me on, and the Ellen show's never had me on. Now,
that's because you called James Corden fat on your show.
I didn't. I like James. I get along with James fine. I was talking about the different. It was about Bill Maher. It was more about Bill Maher and my opinion on fat shaming.
No, it was exactly about James Corden.
James Corden bitched a little bit about being called fat.
Yeah.
And they didn't bitch about it. He bitched about Bill Maher talking about fat people, and he got his feelings.
Would you have somebody on your podcast that insulted you or your show?
Sure.
Okay. He's got us on here.
I have you on every week, and it was only mild ribbing.
Oh, I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah, of course I would.
I don't know. I'm not sure if you're the Ellen demographic anyway. I don't know.
I'd like to be on Ellen.
Okay.
Sean Hayes, who I'm in production with, he hosts Ellen when Ellen's not there. I could be on a Sean Hayes.
Again, though, he's the demographic, though. Yeah.
What are you trying to say here, Forrest? Say it. Just say it out loud. The Ellen viewers enjoy what's?
Not hearing somebody say cunt.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
No, and Kelly Ripa, I'll tell you my Kelly Ripa story. I have a little crush on Kelly Ripa. She's all right, She's all right.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Nothing wrong with Kelly Ripa, right? I was doing Fallon.
Plus a cool name. Ripa is a cool last name.
And I think she's funny. She's funny. They give her a different host every 3 months, and she just fucking rolls with it. She just goes, fine. Which bloke's sitting next to me? No problem. And then she turns out. So she was on.
Regis, R.I.P.
I was doing, Regis. Yeah. And so I was doing Fallon, and the other guest was Kelly Ripa. And Kelly Ripa was on before me, and I'm backstage, and I'm waiting to go on. And Fallon talked about this on the next episode. This is how monumental this moment was. On the next episode of his show, he mentioned this story. So Fallon, who we love, there's a photo of him here somewhere. We like Fallon. Anyway, so Fallon, I was doing his show. And before that, there he is. Look at him. He's like me if I put effort in. Anyway, so we were doing the show, and then Kelly Ripa was on before me, and she was talking about they always do a big Halloween episode, right? And her big story was they do like after each segment they do a different outfit. They're changing outfits all the time. She was doing it with Ryan Seacrest, and she goes, and Ryan dressed up like a girl, and she goes, you'd be surprised how much of a convincing woman Ryan Seacrest makes. And everyone laughed, right? Then it's my turn to come out. Now, when you do these shows, the guests on before you, sometimes you never meet them because they come on, they do their spot, and then they leave. And by the time I'm always the second spot because I'm not as famous as the first person, right? So then when you're doing the second spot, you never see these people again. So anyway, so I go out, and the first thing I said is, it was good having Kelly Ripa here, eh? I go, she just told us that Ryan Seacrest made a convincing woman. That was a shock to us all, wasn't it? Hey, who didn't think that Ryan Seacrest would make a convincing woman? I got a good laugh, and then I went, oh, God, well, Kelly's probably gone. I can rip on her. There's no problem. She's not going to see this anyway. She's already home, right? So we finished the show. I go back to my dressing room. My dressing room, all the lights are turned out. I turn it on, and Kelly Ripa's sitting in my makeup chair in the dark like a fucking Bond villain, and she swivels around, and she's like, you thought I'd left? Anyway, I love Kelly Ripa. Big fan. Anyway, so Kelly Ripa, she said she'd have me on the show, but it's yet to happen. I'm looking forward to that day when I can be on the Ripper.
Yeah.
The Ripper.
And the Ripper.
She said, Philbin says that they had her as a guest on the show, and then when Kathy Lee Gifford had her final show and they had to replace her, that he just remembered like she was a great guest.
Oh,
and like
she's fantastic.
Yeah, and then she might be a good co-host, and came back, and now she's made a huge career out of it.
She was on an episode of Broad City and was like surprisingly hilarious. I didn't know
very
that
funny.
she was.
It says she's in Marvin's Room alongside Meryl Streep and Leonardo DiCaprio. I remember that. I've never seen that movie. It's like a drama, but she's in that.
Well, this is the thing. If someone said something bad about Ripper, I'm telling you. If Ripper gets Ellened,
yeah.
I am going to fight till the bitter death. You're not cancelling the Ripper.
No, Jim
She's done nothing wrong. She's a wonderful woman.
you'd
Now
kill
the Ellen, I've heard bad things about the Ellen.
Yeah.
I've heard the Ellens of this and of that, but I'm sticking by the Ellen. It's not illegal to be a bitch. There's about 40 people, or a bastard, or a cunt, or whatever. I know when you say the word bitch, it sounds very aggressive, right? But here's the thing, right? So 50 people have come forward. Her show has 1,000 staff members. 1,000 staff members. If you're a boss and you don't have 5% of your workers thinking you're a piece of shit, then you're not a very good boss.
Wait, her show has 1,000 staff members?
Yeah. Well, they've
sure?
had over 1,000. A lot
There's
of turnover.
no way there's 1,000
She's
current
very
people
nasty to people. Yeah, there's only 50 staff members at any given time.
Yeah.
But they turn over very quickly.
Okay, I believe that story.
After Ellen just throws a breath mint at you and goes, eat this. You smell it. Because that's one of the things is she had a bowl of gum at the front of her office that people were to chew before they walked in case they had bad breath, because Ellen would be sitting there just patting a cat in a swivel chair and just going, let me smell your breath. And you can't imagine DeRossi's much better. She was a bulimic.
But she apologized.
You know what I mean? Fucking DeRossi was a bulimic. She's married a woman who vomits up her food every now and again. You got to assume that that's not the funnest thing to kiss.
But by the way,
Anyway, I'm pro Ellen.
But by the way, and again, we're going to be way behind on all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it says right now that
I hope you're listening to this, Ellen, and you really hear my support.
I feel like the comments are going to be like, why the fuck are they talking about Ellen again?
if she does get replaced, it's been said James Corden will not be replacing her.
Oh.
And this is an exclusive from the
I'm going to
Daily
replace
Mail.
her.
It
The
says,
scientist and the bear.
Bear
morning show.
it says Melissa McCarthy, Jennifer Aniston, and Kristen Bell are in the running too.
Oh, I love Kristen Bell.
Yeah, she would be a good one.
She's another Ripper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They are
you
very
like-
similar looking.
Yeah, I like.
No, you like Kristen. I know Kristen Bell is one of your celebrity crushes, but you are a celebrity, so you can't really have a celebrity crush.
Just a regular crush.
I don't know these people. I don't know. I have regular crushes as well.
You said you know Kelly Ripa.
Yeah, there's a hooker that stands on the corner of my street who I have a crush on.
Wow, what neighborhood do you live in?
I know.
I thought you were in a better neighborhood.
In Sherman Oaks.
Behind the curtain, Jim's not doing so well.
Yeah, down in Sherman Oaks behind the Paquito Masters.
Hey. Okay. All Ellen talk before our shows.
Well, if you have a better subject, Forrest, I'll riff on it. Tell me, I can talk about anything.
Do you know who she's married to?
Ellen Portia de Rossi.
No, Kelly Ripa. I'm sorry.
Oh, Kelly Ripa's married to a Latino guy who's really good looking, who's like an actor.
He is.
Consuelos.
Mark Consuelos. He
Mark
was
Consuelos.
best known for All My Children.
That's actually a pretty sexy name. Mark Consuelos.
He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, he's hot.
And that's
Why didn't she change the name to Kelly Consuelos? That's a cool name.
It's a tongue twister.
Kelly Consuelos is hard to say. Yeah, Kelly Ripa is a crazy good last name.
You wouldn't want to change
Ripa.
that.
He's a good-looking guy. University of South
good-looking guy.
Florida, and they have 3 kids together.
Yeah,
There you
nothing
go.
wrong with the Consuelos family.
All right, I think that's enough.
Good people, good
Enough
people.
Pop culture
They've
talk.
never made anyone chew gum before they come into their office. I'll tell you that for no one's business.
It's weird because you say you support Ellen, but then you turn on her immediately.
Yeah.
Too.
I support assholes.
Okay, well, maybe.
No, I think
Hemorrhoids.
I think
Should look in your own.
what I don't like is everyone's acting like Helen's committed. Ellen.
Helen Mirren?
He doesn't even know who he's fighting for.
Everyone's acting like Ellen's committed a crime. I think she's just a bit of an asshole. I don't think she's done anything that heinous. All the stories, I'm like, oh, that's an asshole.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's start the show.
All right.
Hey, that was our intro portion of our show, and no way do we ever edit this together, so pretty cool. All right, let's welcome our guest to the show, Jessi Krebs. Hello, Jessi, how you doing?
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Jessi, is it Jessi Krebs, did you say?
Krebs.
Krebs?
I'm saying it right, Krebs?
It is Krebs,
Yeah.
but people say crabs and it's offensive. Don't worry.
Yeah, there you go.
How's crabs offensive?
Because it's a venereal disease.
No, it's also a delicious meal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And try being a 7th grader with the last name of Krabs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. My real surname was Nugent. Everyone called me Nugget. Oh, that was a horrible
Wow.
time.
Way worse than Forrest,
I'll tell you a
let me
quick
tell
story.
you.
My mother, bless her soul, she never liked any of the names that me and my brothers called our children. She never liked any of them. Every time, like, my son was called Hank, and she goes, I won't be calling him Hank. I won't do it. I'll call him something else. I go, you're calling him fucking Hank.
Yeah.
She goes, Hank's the name of a taxi driver. And I go, well, that would make him the second most efficient person, successful person in our family.
He's gonna have a license, Mom.
Yeah, I'm like, you're talking about a family member of ours who has a job? This is fantastic. And then my went with and we put this in legit. It was and I'm just saying this is a joke, and not about mean about my mother. She's passed away. So Alana is the name of my niece, and when my brother went to name her Alana, my mother went, oh, you can't call her Alana. Everyone will call her Alana Banana. Right? And then my brother went, better than your nickname at school, Carolyn the Bitch.
That doesn't even rhyme. All right. So this is a part of our show called Judging a Book by Its Cover. Jessi, Jim is going to try and guess what you are an expert in just by looking at you and your surroundings. He's allowed to ask yes or no questions. I may provide him with some clues. So
Okay. I'm looking at you. You've got a cord around your neck with a laminate. That means you work in a building where you have to scan yourself in. Right, you're not doing it for any other reason. You got to scan yourself in.
Yeah.
Your building has also you've got a timer on a light, right? Because you might fall asleep at work, and they need to turn the light out. You've got a timer on the light, so you must work long hours. The windows are blacked out. There's another man who sleeps in his fucking things, right? Now you've also got a certificate over there onto the side that you haven't laminated or framed. You've just sort of propped up above a water.
I think that's a memo.
It's a memo, just things for him to stop doing. Don't harass the women in the office place.
I
Try
wonder
to
why
leave
he didn't.
people
Why didn't he
alone.
frame that?
Try to leave people
Beautiful.
alone. So I'm going to say that you work in something to do with research.
Well, you're supposed to ask yes or no questions.
Do you
You're
work
wrong. You're
in?
already- You're wrong.
Do you work in a research-based environment?
Maybe.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is a small part of my job is research. Small part.
Do people fear you
No.
at home as well? No one fears
I'm
him.
walked on like a carpet. It's
Aye.
literally, there's no fear.
That's an old Sinatra joke. Women are like tiles. You lay them right the first time, you can walk over them for the rest of your life. All right, now I'm going to sing Under My
Cancelled.
Skin. I'm a good
Oh,
type of guy. Hey, Sammy, come out here so I can slap you. How did that guy never get fucking
Do you have
cancer?
some yes or no questions for Jessi? Okay.
Do you build things?
Sometimes, yes. It's part of what I do.
Okay, you're a rocket scientist.
All right.
Ooh.
Jessi, why don't you give him a hint? We talked about that. Just tilt your camera up a little
Rocket.
bit.
We
and see.
should get
Okay.
a rocket
Pay
scientist.
attention. All right.
Lizards.
Yes, that's a lizard.
Yeah, you're a lizard guy.
I am a lizard guy.
You're a paleontologist.
Oh, close. Paleontologist is the
Bones.
study of dead things.
Yeah.
I keep things alive.
Oh, you're a reptologist.
Yeah, well,
That sounds
Close
good.
enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Can we go? Can we move on with that?
That's actually the best
Yeah,
guess he's
yeah.
ever. That's accurate.
Why would you
right?
call it a reptologist?
I mean, you would.
Hold on a
You
second.
did.
We'll actually ask that question. Jessi Krebs is a zoo curator of reptiles and amphibians. He has been active in the professional zoo animal care for over 25 years. He currently manages a reptile and amphibian collection consisting of 145 reptile and 46 amphibian species, totaling more than 3,000 individual animals at a prominent Midwestern zoo. Jessi has served on the national advisory committees that focus on the care and management of crocodilians, lizards, and amphibians. He has served on the board of directors for the North American Society of Toxinology, and Jessi is part of the core faculty for a national crocodilian management course.
Crocodilians.
Yeah.
That sounds like people who live in Crocodile.
These are a lot of credits.
The town of Crocodile.
Crocodile Dundee
Yeah, I
fans.
got it. I'm moving on. So
As a crocodilian.
but Jessi has a lot of great credits. I think at the beginning of the show, everyone that we've gotten, we know are experts, but we would give like a credit, and people are like, how do we know this person? And it's like, so now I'm just giving tons of credits because a couple weeks ago we had Jack's Ann on, and there was still, of course, a couple anti-vaxxers that came out of the woodwork like, this, what she doesn't know about this. It's like, shut up.
No. She knew a lot about vaccines.
She knows a lot.
She vaccinated Jack. Jack was once a small girl called Sally.
Anyways,
I think you
Jessi,
made that same joke.
Jessi, thank you very much for being here.
Still my joke.
Are you a reptologist?
No, a herpetologist. It's the study of reptiles and amphibians.
Oh. And is that why you have the blackout window? Because the reptiles get upset in your place? Or you just...
I got the blackout window because the side glare on this camera was so horrible you wouldn't be able to see my face. Which
This
isn't
was for
bad.
us. That's sweet.
Wow.
For
I
us.
like there's a lizard in there.
Well, there is. If he might go over, there's a lizard that lives in that plant.
Oh.
When you saw the timer, that timer controls the light for the lizard that lives above my head.
Wait, he's just roaming around? He's
Wait,
free balling in that office?
Free balling, that's
Oh
what we
my
call it. He lives on that plant, and the plant's above my head.
I used to have a lot of geckos come into my house as a kid. The cats used to bring them in, and the geckos used to throw off its tail, the Australian geckos. You have a different...
Right.
The gecko that you have on the adverts here that do the insurance, not the same as the Australian ones. The Australian ones have a little bald tail.
Well, hey.
And you can only kick that off once, and then the cats play with that, and then it runs away. It gets a one get out of jail free card in its whole life. You don't want to blow it. You don't want to just like, I got startled. Oh no, it's just a post.
I thought you were going to say the difference between the gecko and the commercials was that it's not a real animal. It's a cartoon.
Well, also,
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. Also, the Australian geckos don't talk.
geckos suck.
And you guys don't have pediatricians. You don't have talking geckos.
The Australian geckos talk like this. Oh, my fucking tail came off, cunt. Oh no! Who brought the fucking cat here? You fucking cunt.
So that leads
They're
me.
not indigenous.
That leads me to my next thing. We're actually specifically going to be talking about Australian reptiles today.
All
So this is
right.
our first Australian-centric show that we're doing, podcast.
We get high ratings in Australia, so Australia, this is for you.
And-
for you Americans, just sit back and say that everything's better here or whatever you get up to.
Jessi is very where he works. They have a lot of Australian reptiles. The largest collection, you said, or one of the largest collections.
One of the largest
Yeah,
collections in the
so he
United
knows
States.
very, very well what we're talking about. So, Jessi, this is what we're going to do. Jim is going to tell us everything he thinks he knows about Australian reptiles. I'm going to prod him along with some questions. It won't be too long. And then after that, you're going to give him a grade from 0 to 10 on accuracy, 10 being the best. Kelly's going to give him on confidence. I'm going to do et cetera. When we tally the scores, if you get 21 through 30, Jim, Godzilla. He's one of the...
No. You want Australian animals.
No, he's just reptile. He's a reptile. And then 11 through 20, Demi-Godzilla, and 0 through 10, Atheistzilla. Which you'd think that'd be the top one, but Godzilla is the... Yeah.
Yeah, but less people believe in atheists.
Yeah. Anyways, let's start off with the first question. What is a reptile?
What is a reptile?
Yeah, that you heard me.
It's a fucking snake and shit, man.
Okay.
Let me Wikipedia that. Yeah, no, he's right.
It's a cold-blooded animal with a reptilian type skin on it, right? Like scales, right? Like like a snake, a lizard, All those different ones are all reptiles.
Okay.
You say something, I'll tell you if it's reptile or not.
Damn, we needed that as a segment.
Okay. Our bird is
reptile or not.
okay. How about this?
Jack is not a reptile.
Crocodile.
Yes.
A crocodile is
Crocodile.
a crocodile. I'm going to say is a reptile. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
okay.
it's a reptile.
What about a turtle?
A turtle is also a reptile.
What about a bird?
A bird, because then you're saying this is the whole thing. So the raptors are more related to birds.
The Toronto Raptors?
Yes. all
No,
of
no,
them.
the
Kawhi
raptors
Leonard.
from Jurassic
Nice.
Park are more related to birds in their movement than they are. So I'm going to say that a bird is not a reptile, but it has reptilian things about it.
Damn, you're sounding smart as fuck right
Okay.
Holy shit.
What about a platypus?
A platypus is not a reptile. A platypus is a mammal that is one of the few mammals on Earth that can lay its own eggs. It does not have a pouch. It's a lay-egging mammal, which is very rare.
You were doing good till you said lay egging, but you're still doing good. So
Egg
about-
laying. What's the fucking problem with that, man?
the worst. All right.
Bad syntax.
Velociraptor.
Velociraptor is closer to a bird than a reptile, but it has reptilian activities. I'm going to say it's a reptile.
Okay. Doesn't exist, but okay. Never did. Maybe it did.
The Velociraptor existed.
Did it exist?
Yeah.
Yeah, was that one of the made-up ones that they made on the?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Velociraptor's real.
Yeah, Velociraptor's real, man.
Okay.
It was a real dinosaur.
Yeah, it was a real
A
dinosaur.
reptile.
It's a dinosaur, not a reptile.
Yeah.
Idiot.
One thing I do on this show. One thing I like to do on this show, Jesse, is I like to ask questions to Jim to make him answer them wrong. So that's what I
You're
say.
setting him up to fail.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see the strategy.
Name. Okay, here's one. Just one more general reptile question. We'll get into Australian. Name as many different groups or orders of reptiles as you can. So you said lizards.
7
Lizards, and then go from where? What are kind of
lizards,
groups? Yeah.
snakes,
Yeah.
triamphipods,
Yeah. They study your camera.
lizards, snakes. There's the walking ones, the slimy ones,
The walking ones, the slidey
the
ones.
slidey ones. The walking ones, the
Slidey,
slidey ones,
walkies.
slidey walking. And then there's the frill neck lizards. They're
Frill
Australian.
neck?
You've never heard of a frill neck lizard?
That-
You fucking get on that, people. Google that. If you're excited by the quokka, check out a frill neck lizard.
okay, but I'm saying groups of not the specific like species and stuff like groups.
It's,
You mentioned one in the yes nos that you said yes to.
crocodiles, crocodilians.
Mm-hmm.
They're a reptile. Crocodilians. Then I would say lizards, snakes, crocodilians, geckos,
Okay.
And-
Time's up.
and dragonflies.
Yeah. Got it. You got the last one. Okay. Name 7 Australian reptiles. No, however, whatever names you want to use.
Brown snake,
Yep.
frilled neck lizard,
Yep. I knew you were going to say that.
There he is.
frilled neck lizard, geckos.
Yeah.
What's the big fucking the dragon lizard?
Dragon lizard?
The big ass one. Oh, that's not Australian. That's not Australian. The goanna.
Goanna.
The goanna is a big ass.
Jesse
fucking,
just pointed at you, so I think
Yeah.
that's good, and it was a good point.
The
So-
goanna is a big ass fucking lizard.
positive
man.
point.
And you see them out in the wild. They take up half a tree, and they're like, "Oh, I'm just hiding," and you're like wider than the tree. You dumb cunt.
Okay.
Gecko. How many have I got so far?
You named
4.
4, yeah.
I'll give you more.
Yeah, 7.
Brown snakes. Okay, so so spiders not. That was about to name some spiders. That wasn't gonna work. They're not going to work.
Platypus.
Platypus isn't one.
I know. Trying to throw you off.
Isn't one.
Can you name any more?
No, the koala.
Koala.
Turtles.
A lot of scales.
Oh, no, turtles. We have turtles.
There you go. That's
Turtles.
going back to the earlier
What
question.
kind of turtles? What kind of turtles?
Teenage Mutant.
Fucking
Ninja.
loads of them.
They love pizza.
No, we have loads of turtles.
I know, but a specific
we have
kind,
giant
like a
turtles. We have the
specific
little
species.
We have the little baby ones that they swim out. They swim out, right? They lay the eggs, and then what happens is 100 eggs or something, and then all the ones, and then 98 of them die, and 2 of them survive. They swim out. Hey, is the turtle the fucking toad, the cane toad?
Cane toad.
Throw in a... Oh, no, not the cane toad. Not the cane toad.
Jesse.
Don't help him. Don't help him, Jesse.
Jesse's shaking his head. No.
Driving me nuts here. You're killing me.
I think you're
So
gonna
I
get a 10.
got goannas, frill-neck lizards, regular lizards, geckos, brown snakes.
Loads of turtles.
Loads of turtles.
Yeah.
We've got other snakes. We've got loads and loads of snakes.
Don't forget young turtles.
50% of like we have loads of snakes, shit tons of snakes.
Yep. Yep. Seems
And
like you know
oh, that's an insect.
okay, next question.
Yeah.
How many people die from reptiles, just reptiles, in Australia each year?
Oh, crocodile bites. I'm going to say 86 people.
Okay, 86 per year.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's talk about crocodiles. You didn't even mention them as an Australian reptile.
I did.
You
Yeah,
did.
he said
Crocodiles.
No, you said I said
crocodilians.
I said when you said specific species, but it's fine. We'll go
Okay,
with
exact crocodiles.
No.
Freshwater crocodiles.
it. No. Okay. What about saltwater?
We have saltwater as well.
Okay, good. So let's talk about the saltwater. Like what region do they live in?
Darwin.
Okay.
They live up in the Northern Territory, and you can't see them in the beaches.
How big do
some
they
of the
get?
nicest beaches. Oh, they can get to 20-something feet. They're big.
20-something.
We saw some crocodiles up there.
Yeah. How long do they live?
Oh, 100 years.
That's it? Exactly?
110 if they have a good diet.
Yeah.
They're not
they
even-
don't drink every
It
day.
depends which tourists they eat.
How many are in Australia? How many crocs?
Oh, crikey. Fuck. I just said crikey
Yeah.
about a crocodile
Yeah.
thing.
Oh my god.
That was a legitimate
We're getting extra Australian Jim
Oh,
today.
no. How many crocodiles could there be?
I should have brought in my
Now, I
crocodile
don't.
hat.
This
Oh,
is
yeah.
the problem I have with this question. You don't fucking know. People are going to say they know. You're not swimming around counting them all. You don't know. You're having a guess here. You're having a guess. And so I'm going to guess 200,000.
Okay. And then how many people die a year from crocs?
4.
Okay. Okay.
It's not common. It's not a common thing. It's not like you see it all the time. It's
Sure.
like the sharks. Like every couple of years, we have like a shark, a great white, kills someone off Cottesloe Beach, and then the Australians all get fucking batshit and they go out hunting the shark.
Right.
So they're all out there with their harpoon guns, going, "We're going to get it." You don't know which shark.
You're like more likely to kill yourself with the harpoon gun.
No, they just have bloodlust, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, because they're endangered until they kill someone, and then you get like 24 hours to kill one."
Yeah.
Okay, snakes. Do you know how to tell the difference between a venomous and a non-venomous snake?
You let it bite you, and you see what happens.
Very effective.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
science
telling
right
you.
there.
Yeah,
That
I'm
is
telling you.
science.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah.
You have a test subject. Okay, you let it bite a child of yours, and then another child of yours doesn't get bitten, and then you see who's healthier at the end of the day.
Okay.
A blind
Good.
study.
Yeah. Good.
You don't tell which one's been bitten.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You drug them first so they're asleep.
What would happen if there were no snakes? Not just in Australia, but everywhere.
We would have far too many mice.
Yeah, and so we
Yeah.
need them,
We
right?
need them. They take care of the rodents and that type of stuff. I used to live with a girl who had a snake, right? She had a snake that lived in a thing. And she left me in charge of it for a while. And I was playing with this snake drunk, trying to impress someone. I was holding the snake.
What kind of snake?
It was like a carpet snake, a little tiny, or a diamond. It was in Britain. It was in Britain. It was a little tiny snake. And if she's listening to the podcast, I haven't spoken to her in years. Hope you're well. But anyway, so I'm holding this snake. I think I'm trying to impress some girl or something I brought back. I pass out drunk. This is 20-something years ago. I pass out blind drunk. And I've lost the fucking snake. And she's coming home in a couple of days. And I have to say, I got drunk and lost your fucking snake, right? I'm living in a 3-apartment house type of thing, right? Downstairs, I hear the woman screaming. Benny the snake had escaped through the wall cavity, gotten down, and ended up in her cutlery drawer. Right? So she'd open up to get a knife or fork out, and the fucking snake came out. And I ran downstairs excited, and I became very Steve Irwin. It was the most Australian I've ever been in my life. I was like, "Don't worry about it." And he hadn't eaten for like a fucking week, so he was starving, and he was hissing and all that type of stuff. And I went, I've got him. And then I just sort of wrestled him out, put him back in his fish tank, and gave him a fucking mice. And then I never told her that story. So if she's listening, all's well that ends well.
Snakes
Okay.
definitely did.
One more question, and then we'll actually talk about various animals as we go along. Why do you think snakes have such a bad reputation? Like they're usually seen as like evil or bad.
Because they're always in the grass. No, snakes, because they like that, and they slither
How are
up.
they?
Like, and they slither up. They slither, and this is what the snake does. Because I used to feed this snake mice, and I used to get frozen mice, and I used to put them in kung fu positions. I used to unfreeze them and bend their arms. I used to bend their arms so they were sitting in like a kung fu position, just like standing, staring at this snake. And then the snake didn't know it was like a frozen mouse. So it just sort of wanders up like, oh, how you doing? Don't worry about me. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. And then boom, wraps its body around it and starts choking it out, right? That's why they're fucking nasty cunts. They never tell you when they're going to attack. They're just they're snakes, they are.
Unlike us, when we kill cows, we're like, hey, cow, we're going to kill you now.
right
I don't think we have a good reputation
Yeah.
in the animal kingdom. I don't think the rest of the animals are walking around going, humans, they're all right. Like when animals get
They're the
together,
worst.
when animals get together, they're like this. The cat's like, I don't see the problem. My one's patting me all the time. And the dog's like, my one's okay. And then the rest of them's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
No. Well, they just put a bolt into one of my friend's head.
Yeah.
No.
All right, Jessi, thanks for waiting
And
patiently.
that's where steak comes from.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks for waiting patiently while we did that.
Hey, I'm getting paid, man.
Can you please tell us on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the best, how accurate Jim was about reptiles and Australian reptiles?
Overall, I'm going to give him a solid 8.
Wow.
Like I was very impressed with some of the answers.
Yeah.
All right.
Some of them were kind of off the wall, but I could sense that they were grounded in like real knowledge.
They were
So
educated guesses.
Yeah, okay.
I think overall I'm going to give you a solid 8.
That's a very nice score. I think so. But Kelly, what about confidence?
I'm gonna go 7 on confidence. You slipped really into your Australian roots on this one, so you were home. It felt
Now,
like.
when you say Australian roots, do you know what that means in Australian?
No.
Okay.
Oh, does root mean sex?
Roots are slang for fucking.
Yeah.
So you go, I rooted this girl on the weekend. And so when you guys will go, I want to root for the home team. And then like in Canada, there's a brand of clothing called Roots where they just put it over the tracksuit pant asses.
Yeah.
Us Australians find that hysterical. That's like our favorite thing.
What about the movie?
The movie Roots
Roots
wasn't
less funny.
Yeah, it wasn't
Significantly less funny.
Like all the Australians went, this will be a good comedy.
There's no sex at all in this.
This will be like Porky's.
On etc. I like the new look. I think you should do this. I think it'll upset people, which I'm all for.
I'm just choosing now in quarantine
You get a 10.
just to look
Etc.
how I want to look.
Yeah, you get a 10. So
This is
total
the person
score.
I am inside.
Yeah. Of
Total
course.
score of 25. Godzilla. There you go.
Nice.
Godzilla Day. All right, let's start with what is a reptile. Jim said a reptile is a snake and shit, but then he amended that to cold-blooded animal, scales.
That's right, and he hit like the top 3 is that it's a poikilotherm or ectothermic is the technical term for being cold-blooded. He got the scales in there. All I would have wanted to hear is the word tetrapod, and I would have given you a 10, but you didn't say tet.
He's not going to be able to say that right now, even though
I
you
can't
just said
say
that.
tetrapod.
I can't repeat that information back here.
With the accent, tetrapod.
Tetra meaning tetra means
Tetris.
10.
Limbs means limbs. They
10
got
limbs?
Except for snakes, which doesn't make any sense, but that's science. It doesn't make sense.
I
fair-
saw a lizard the other day in my garage that was so long, but then it had arms. It was more like a snake than a lizard. It was
Probably
like
an alligator lizard.
Yeah, it was like that's a snake.
what you
who's
guys
growing
have down
limb.
there.
And me and my son just stared at it forever and ever and ever, and I went, that passed a bit of time.
To be fair, though, later on he said triemapods, so that was pretty close. Maybe
It was. Maybe I should. No, I'm sticking with that one. He's good though. That's good. That's better than.
Do all
Nothing.
reptiles lay eggs? Is that
Oh, some are live bearers.
Yeah.
And some are egg layers. The thing is about the eggs is, yes, they all lay eggs, but sometimes they hold the eggs inside them and they don't get a calcified shell.
Yeah.
So it looks like live birth. The animal comes out born live, but it actually was inside of an egg type of thing inside the female.
Here we go.
But
Weird,
it just depends.
weird question. Do snakes fuck?
Oh yeah.
They
They have
do.
2 penises, man. 2.
Two.
Yeah.
But how do
One
they
for- one
do
for
that?
each side.
Do they get on the back of the other snake? I don't see where the hole is.
No, they slide up. They slide next to it. They slide next.
I was
It's
already
like this.
terrified of snakes, and then
Dude.
finding out they have 2 penises makes them the most terrifying creature on the
They
planet
spoon.
to me.
Do snakes 69? I imagine it would be tricky.
I'm not sure they're into oral.
Yeah, they got a lot of
It's
teeth.
it's all sensory. That tongue is
That's why-
picking up different pheromones.
That's why you
So
have
yes.
the extra dick
Is this the lizard
for
you
all the
saw?
bite marks. Yeah, that's a lizard.
That's an alligator lizard. There you
I had
go.
an alligator lizard. This
That's
looks
what you
like a
got around
snake.
there.
Yeah, I had an alligator lizard.
I stepped on your bite marks joke. Sorry. Okay. Asked
all
Jim. Asked.
It's not going to define me.
I asked Jim to name as many different groups or orders of reptiles as he could. He said he said snakes, lizards, then crocs, and then he stopped. But then I asked him if a turtle was, and he said yes. We got that. Birds, he said no, are not reptiles. Platypus, no. Velociraptor, yes. How'd they do?
Well, so technically, if you look at modern science, reptiles and birds are all reptilian. We consider reptiles non-avian reptiles.
Whoa.
It's very complicated and it's not worth getting into. So you're right. They're not reptiles.
Yeah, they're not. They're closely related to reptiles. That's why I call women birds, because they're snakes.
They have common ancestors.
Hot take,
I'm
shots
joking,
fired.
Kelly Bear.
No, it's okay.
Should help you.
All right, Toots.
Velociraptor's a dinosaur. Platypus
That's
is a
more
mammal.
offensive than being called a snake. Hi, toots.
Sorry, what'd you say, Jesse?
The platypus. You forgot to mention that it's venomous.
I didn't know it was venomous.
Yeah, they've got little spikes on their either back feet or front feet that deliver venom. So it's an egg-laying, duck-billed, venom-delivering mammal with a beaver tail. It is
What the fuck?
absolute.
It's a duck.
Just the
It's a
weirdest
duck
thing.
fucked a beaver. It was like,
And then a venomous snake got involved.
this is the problem with the platypus, right? Because I've only ever seen one platypus in the wild my whole life, and I was about 8 years old, and I was in the bush with my brother, and we saw one. But apart from that, I've only ever seen them in zoos, right? And I lived in Australia for 20 years. Now, the thing about the platypus is okay, so my good friend Rhys Darby, who'll know Murray from Fly of the Conchords and many movies, Jumanji and all that sort of stuff, Rhys believes in, and he does a podcast, Rhys believes in Bigfoot and alien. I believe in aliens, whether they visit or not, that's debatable. I believe in other but Rhys believes in Bigfoot, right? And I go, what the fuck are you talking about? There's no Bigfoot. Where are the bones? Where are the fossilized? I go, we got cameras. Everyone's got cameras all the time. Put up a few GoPros in the bush and find me a fucking Bigfoot. He goes, oh, well, Jim, no one believed in the platypus. They all thought it was a mythical being until someone actually saw one. And so he always uses the platypus as his benchmark on why the Bigfoot does exist.
Damn.
Because there was a few people who went, I've seen one. And now it's like common knowledge.
So we'll have Reese on for our Bigfoot episode.
I mean, if Jefferies had a season 4, we were going to do a field piece with you and Reese hunting for Bigfoot in the forest.
Yeah. I know we were always trying to work Reese into the
Yeah.
show. like we're going to do me and Reese. But Reese does believe in Bigfoot. And he's a parent and he's allowed to talk in public.
Okay, I asked Jim to name me 7 Australian reptiles. And he said, I'm sorry. I asked him the different, was this the order ones? When you said, oh yeah, lizard, snakes, tramopods, slidey, walkie. Okay, so here's the Australian ones he said. Brown snake, frill-necked, that's okay, frill-necked lizard.
Yep.
All right, you got the frill-neck. A gecko?
A gecko is a type of lizard that lives in Australia.
Okay.
But there's like 50 different kinds of geckos. that
So
live,
I got 57.
Yeah, okay. A goanna?
Yep. Monitor lizards.
Goanna.
Then he said
goanna.
He said koala?
No, I joke.
That is a mammal.
You weren't
It's
joking.
not even a bear. It's not even a bear.
That's a marsupial.
It's
Yeah.
a mouse. Super, it's not a bear.
He said loads of turtles.
Shitloads of turtles.
And he said
There are.
cane toad.
There's
Cane
the
toad.
sea turtles, and then there's the ones that live in the freshwater.
Okay. He said cane toad, and you shook your head.
No.
Yeah, cane toad's an amphibian. And it's an amphibian from South America. It's not even supposed to be there.
Oh, I thought it was from Norway or something. I always got that wrong.
South America. They brought them in to control the cane beetle for the cane.
So I have real questions on this, right? So I know they brought in a couple of cane toads. I was always led to believe that the cane toad lays like 10,000 eggs, and because of the temperature where it came from, only 2 or 3 of them survived. But now that they're in Australia, like 10,000 of them survive, and that's why we have the problem with the cane toads. Am I wrong? I've told several people this.
So back in the 20s, I guess the sugar cane industry was very big in Australia, especially the northern part.
Still is.
Still is? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a beetle that destroys the crop. And so some scientist, they said, hey, you know what? Let's get these big giant toads from South America. They'll eat the beetles. It'll take care of the problem for us. The problem is the beetles are active at one time and the toads are active at another time. So the two never met. And the toads just ate everything else. They were reduced in ridiculous numbers and they're highly toxic. So all the native stuff that you've got down there, they eat them, they die. So they're just going nuts.
But why are they
from South America?
Why are they so much more overpopulating the Australian landscape?
There's no predators.
There's no predators. Who would normally?
Nothing can eat those things. There's maybe like one snake that I'm familiar with that can swallow it and not die. But everything else, even the freshwater crocodile, you watch that thing try to eat a cane toad.
And if you lick it, you get high, right? You hallucinate.
I'm not going to be that guy that tells you to lick that species.
Lick that.
So there's bufotoxin, and it will kill you if you do too much of it.
It'll kill you.
Now there's some toads that they're the ones that make you. Ooh.
I'd try that.
Which ones make you go?
They're from Arizona.
Which ones make you go? Woo woo woo?
They're called it's Bufo alvarius is the scientific name. They're from Arizona. The Sonoran.
Arizona. That's why Arizona's all fucking. Yeah, they're all wasted. And
yeah, there's a law on the book that says you cannot lick this toad. Like that's a law written somewhere that says you can't lick this toad.
That's a tattoo I have above my penis. But you can.
You can.
What it is like,
joke.
Don't touch that button. Then people always touch that button.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
it's reverse psychology.
I told you not to lick the toad.
Crocodiles. Oh, wait. Jim said, I asked him how many people die from reptiles in Australia each year. He said 86.
Yeah.
How close is that?
Boom.
That seems way high. It seems way high. I mean, when you say reptiles, we're talking about venomous snakes and crocodiles. With modern antivenom, people don't normally die. There can be lots of snake bites, but if with good medical treatment, nobody really dies.
But you're not factoring in the people who have died from fear.
You're just scared to death.
You find them dead in their house, and they go, "Oh, this was a suicide," but really, like a spider or a snake or something came.
I'm scared to death.
Yeah, it's a lot of those. Okay, so saltwater croc. He said they live near Darwin. They get to around 20 feet. They live to 110 years. There's about 200,000 of them, and 4 people a year die from them. Right? How's that?
That's not completely like they're crazy. Yes, Darwin but they have a huge range. They're actually found in the Philippines, India, New Guinea, all along the northern part of Australia. I didn't actually look up the numbers. So you're right, Jim. Nobody fucking knows.
No one knows.
Here's the thing.
No one knows. No one's counting those things.
I did look it up. It said between 100 and 200,000 though. So you're pretty good on that one.
Yeah, 200,000.
Scientists?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh no, because we did a thing on the Jim Jefferies show about how many sharks were getting finned, and they said, oh, they fin like 100,000 sharks a year, and I was like, oh no. And then they were like, and I was like, how many sharks are in the world? And they were like, anywhere between like 1 million and 2 billion or something, or like something.
It was huge.
It was like more sharks than people or something. And I was like, what?
Yeah. Well, it depends what animals you're talking about. Some animals are easier to count than others. Obviously, the ones in the water in the ocean are much more difficult.
Yeah,
however,
city downy animals.
we used to count manatees. I used to count manatees.
Downy. I was like, what is he talking? Like, I thought you meant city, like city, town, whatever. And then I was like, it processed.
It's very easy to count a kiwi bird. They're a blind, flightless bird in New Zealand.
No, but it's at night
who has
usually.
no predators, and you can just go, "There's one."
Well, I used to count manatees. I used to be in the manatee count for the United States.
I know this about you.
Yeah.
That was Forrest's job, was to count manatees.
We would literally fly around in a helicopter and try and count all of the actual manatees, but they're easier because they're usually generally close to the surface resting. If they're near the bottom, they're in shallow water, you can see them and stuff like that. So we would actually go around at the same day, the entire state, a bunch of different organizations would fly around and count all the manatees. They do it a little differently now.
Now, be honest with me, Forrest. Was there ever a day where you and your mates in your little boat just looked at each other and went, We're all good with 47.
No, we did it in a helicopter, a police helicopter. They fly us around.
Yeah,
and
did you ever bullshit and just write a figure down? Be honest.
No, you wouldn't, because we'd have other people in that. You'd have 3 people in the helicopter doing their own counts, and you'd have to verify them against each other.
Now,
So
when you came back to your boss with your number of 86 or whatever like
Yeah.
that, did they go, good work today?
They did.
like if you counted like 20, would they be like, what the fuck were you doing all
Yeah.
day? And you were like, they weren't around. They weren't around.
It was weather dependent. You do it on a really cold day because they'd all be gathered in areas where there was warmer
Did
water.
my tax money go towards this?
Probably I don't know. I don't even know where that got paid from. That was like probably a Florida. There's no
Florida
state tax
thing.
there, but yeah, but it was like
Caribbean.
sales tax or something like that. Yeah. Also, what your tax money goes to worse shit than counting manatees. So.
I can't.
No, I was just saying I want all my money to go to manatee counting.
Okay.
I want a definitive number, and I don't think they're putting enough money into
We'll
it.
They
start a
have-
GoFundMe.
They have changed the count method, so.
What do you mean change the count method?
Well, no. What I'm saying is,
we used to go up in numbers.
no, they used to actually count them, and now it's somewhat controversial thing the way they count them differently now by estimating it. I'm not for that.
Oh, you're not
We've
for
just,
estimate?
this podcast is taking a turn that no one gives a shit about right now. So.
you know, in the manatee
It's not
world,
funny anymore.
When Forrest became a stand-up comedian, they went, geez, the manatee counting's never been the same. Like, the world has more laughter, but fuck, we don't know how many manatees there are around.
I mean, there's not untrue. So. Okay, snakes. How do you tell the difference between a venomous and a non-venomous snake? Jim said you let it bite one of your kids.
Yeah, that'll work.
Technically, that
That's
is
one
accurate.
way.
If you have 2 children and they get bit by 2 snakes, yes.
It's not your first option, but if one of them's being a dickhead,
It is not.
then-
It shouldn't be your first option. And
No,
there
I
really
wanted to
is-
say dogs or something. People get so upset with animal testing. On my last special, I did a joke about animal testing, and people have been writing to me how uneducated I am or something. So
Yeah.
I want to kill kids from now on.
yeah, that's a safer bet.
Is there a better way than letting them bite your kids, Jesse?
No, you literally have to know what you're looking for. A particular species has a very specific look, and there's a lot of blending. You know, like some of the trademarks that we say here in the United States are vertical pupils versus round pupils. But in Australia, you have snakes that are venomous that have round pupils, and you have snakes that are venomous that have vertical pupils. So if you don't know what you're looking at, you just don't touch it.
Yeah.
It's just don't touch.
Can
That
they,
easy.
Can they crossbreed? Can they be mixed race snakes?
No.
Not like dogs
So
or
you-
anything? They can't do that?
No, you can't take a python and the taipan and put them together and get a constricting venomous snake.
That would be called a paipan?
Yeah, yeah.
Got it.
But they can have sex for pleasure, though, right?
Of course.
Okay, great.
Now-
I'm not
I just want to make.
stopping
I just want to make sure.
Now, do snakes call their penises their trouser snakes?
They don't. They call them hemipenises.
Hemipene.
Hemipene.
Like
Just
a big
hemipene.
Dodge engine.
Hemipene.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so I said, what would happen if there were no snakes? Jim said it'd be bad because they wouldn't kill any rodents. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, that is absolutely right. They are, they help control small mammal populations, and rodents carry bubonic plague. Rodents eat our food. We compete with rodents for food. So snakes help keep that balance. The other big thing is venomous snakes. We've learned a lot about that venom. And so a lot of that research has now been put into medicine. So we now have better drugs that control diabetes, pain medications, things that are saving people's lives. All of that has been learned from Australian venomous snakes. So we need those things around because there's a lot more we can learn from these things.
You're welcome, America.
Produce the snakes. And you had said something when we were talking before about that we are successful because of snakes, and you mentioned like the rice fields and stuff like that. And was it India or something like that?
Yeah, because we're competing for food. So small mammals want to eat the same thing. They want to eat our crops. They want to eat the grains. They want to eat the corn, rice paddies, things like that. And so the snakes are controlling those small mammals from eating our food. So we're competing for the same thing, and the snakes are evening the balance for us. So every time you take a snake out, you're allowing several more small mammals to come in and rob you blind.
Do small mammals contribute? I feel like they do nothing.
Everything contributes. Everything has a purpose.
Rats. Rats don't help out at all. What do rats do?
Make us appreciate
not rats
snakes.
that came from Europe. So the rats that most of us deal with, came from somewhere else, and they're invasive, just like the cane toad. Those things are not helpful, but small rodents in their natural environment are just part of that circle of life and that food chain.
But what about rats in their own environment? How do they help?
Yes.
They don't help.
But they're part of the system. So a rat might dig a hole. They're really good diggers, right? Lots of things use those holes. Snakes use those holes. Spiders use those holes. Lots of animals benefit from those holes.
Okay.
Rats are seed dispersers.
All right, I'll give you an animal. You tell me how they contribute that I don't think do anything. Penguins.
Now I'm a reptile guy, but I'll see what I can
Penguins do nothing. They're birds. They're reptiles. Boom, shakalaka.
No, he said they aren't reptiles.
Give them what they want.
Non-avian.
All right, so penguins, what do they do? How do they help?
Penguins, so they help their food. Those things are food for whales. So and leopard seals. So leopard seals and orcas, those things need something to eat down there. There's not a lot of food. That's a big food source for those predators. Their poop, all their poop, that's fertilizing the different areas, and all that poop then washes into the water, becomes nitrogenous waste, which gets converted by good bacteria, which ends up helping cultivate some of the different, all the krill end up benefiting from all that. And then, so whales can eat the krill, and then the birds can eat the krill, and then the leopard seal can eat.
That's good enough. But when I shit in the water, people get upset.
That's the county pool, man. Don't do it in the county pool.
No, I just do it in the ocean. Just let one flop out.
And there's plenty of fish that eat that up. So you're actually doing a good thing. You keep up the good work.
I know.
Do you know what animals are the least useful, though? Are humans. We don't do shit.
Mm-hmm.
We've done such bad things.
We do lots of good things.
Like what?
We
What do
made
we do?
Anchorman. We made Anchorman.
Yeah.
We've taken ourselves out of the food chain. We tried to.
We invented the lobster roll.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
us. We built
helps.
structures. We built buildings.
How does that help nature?
That is nature.
Buildings are nature. Sand versus trees.
No, it is. This room is nature in the same way that a beehive is nature, or what
We have a plant in here, but
or
this
if
room.
or if a beaver
not
makes a
nature.
fucking dam, it's all construction.
Very
We
nature.
don't call the things that they manufacture not nature. Just because we rock at it and we can make gargoyles doesn't mean that we're any less.
Gargoyles? How does your brain go to gargoyles?
Find me a fucking animal that can make a gargoyle. Only us. Only us.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
We made cars. If you saw a possum that built a fucking vehicle, you'd call it nature. But we build it. It's called herding nature. No, everything we construct is nature.
Okay. Let's talk about specific Australia.
Is a
Back to
beehive
the question.
Is a beehive nature? Is a beehive nature?
Beehive, yes.
How? It's a constructed little city.
You wouldn't sit in your house all day and
it's
say,
made out of-
I'm hanging out in nature today.
We did an episode on bees. We did an episode on bees. It's made out of natural materials.
This is all made out of natural materials.
This is plastic.
There's a lot of plastic. That's not natural.
And what, did we get it from space?
Yeah. Okay.
We got it from somewhere. It was us pouring things in jars together. Just because we're smart, they always want to fucking put us down. No, fuck the animals. We're number one.
I like this point. I like it.
The animals aren't putting us down, by the way.
No. They're
No,
always
you should see their
They're judging. They
what
judge.
about my habitat? What about my habitat? Build a better one, you cunt. We build ourselves one. Ooh, who's going to count us now that forest is gone? Count yourself. You can't fucking count, you fat fuck.
Pull yourself up by your fucking
Manatees, I'm talking about
bootstraps,
manatees.
animals.
Yeah, pull yourself up, man.
All right. Eastern brown snake.
Yeah,
Let's talk about that.
yeah.
Yeah. Australian reptile. You
Australian
mentioned
reptile. I had a brown snake brought in and put on the end of my bed when I was a child.
by a cat.
By a cat, yeah.
Let's make that clear.
Yeah. My mum was a big disciplinarian. No, when I was a child, the cat, Tasha, the cat, came and put a brown snake on the end of my bed. I was like, and I couldn't make a sound. I think I've told this story before. It's been animated, but then my dad came and hit it with a shovel. Anyway, carry on.
So they're poisonous, right, Jesse?
Yeah, the most
Venomous.
the most venomous snake on earth. Correct, Mundo? Sorry,
that's the inland taipan.
I went a
That's
bit
the taipan.
Fonzie there. What was all that about?
No, there's another snake that's the most venomous, but it's from Australia. He just said.
Which country is that one in?
No, Australia.
Oh, okay. Oh, there's another
The
one in
country of Australia, the continent. Yes.
the continent.
The inland taipan, or also known as the fierce snake.
Was that introduced? Why is it called the England taipan? Or did the
Inland as in inland, as in coastal or inland.
Inland. All right.
Where do you find that?
Inland forest.
Inland.
No, I mean, but what parts of Australia?
The middle.
Right
The
in the
middle. The
middle.
middle.
Oh,
Right
inland.
in the middle of Australia.
Inland.
No manatees there. I don't know anything about it. So.
Yeah, there's no water. There's no water.
Oh yeah, forest is unemployable in the desert.
That's the most venomous snake.
Yeah.
From when you have the way we judge venom, yes, we to assign venom a number, we call it an LD50. LD stands for lethal dose. And so what they do is they take a bunch of mice and they inject it with the same amount of venom. And then however much it takes to kill half of those mice, that's how they calculate what the LD50 is. And so the LD50 of the inland taipan or fierce snake is the most toxic of all snakes on the planet.
There's something about the name fierce snake that doesn't make me scared at all.
What?
I'm always like, I'm going to say that about like, oh, that woman's LD50.
Yeah, is 50 so 50 is the highest.
No, LD50 is the name
Oh,
of
I'm sorry.
the number.
Oh, because it's 50 mice. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Because you've killed half.
Yeah,
50 is
yeah.
half. And so you killed half of those mice with this measured amount of
got it.
venom.
Okay. And how many people has that snake killed?
0.
Okay.
Wow.
How many
Because-
is the brown snake killed? Because the brown snakes is a
Oh,
kill.
now there's a lot, but nowadays with modern antivenoms, people don't die that often from brown snakes because they've got antivenom.
How quick do I have to get to the doctor if I get bitten by a brown snake?
It depends on where the snake bites you, how big the snake is, and then your reaction. Everybody reacts a little bit differently to foreign proteins in their body. So
I'll give you
like
two
bee
scenarios:
stings-
one finger, one scrotum.
Okay. So the scrotum's going to be a lot harder to manage. Because if you get bit in the finger, what we can do is a pressure immobilization bandage, which kind of compartmentalizes that venom, keeps it in that spot so you can get to the doctor, get the antivenom. Getting it in your scrotum, that is probably worst case scenario other than your neck. Because you're not going to, you know what? Here's what we can do. We get a rubber band. We take a rubber band, I'm going to put it around the base of your scrotum until they turn purple. That'll compartmentalize the venom. The venom will just chew up and destroy all your nerve endings and stuff down in there. But if we get you to the hospital, you should be fine.
Could you just use a cock ring instead?
Perfect. If you've got one in the back pocket, use the cock ring.
This podcast has got about 30 more minutes left. Am I going to last?
Yeah. So if it was on the finger and you applied some pressure to like a tourniquet or something,
Not a tourniquet.
Yeah.
So tourniquet actually stops
go.
blood flow, and that's going to cause more tissue damage. What you want to do is just do a very light pressure, like you would say a sprained ankle or a sprain, because that slows down the venom. So venom travels through
Like
the lymphatic
a
system.
rubber band would work? Rubber band?
Yeah, it'd be better to just wrap we use a Band-Aid that's loosely wrapped, because venom travels through the lymphatic system, not just circulates through your blood. So what you're trying to do is stop the lymph from moving around in that finger. So you can do that just by very light pressure to keep that compartmentalized.
There's people in Australia in their car right now going, yeah. That's what I'll do.
I'll
It's got
tell you,
kinkier than I thought it would.
Andrew Wantuck,
Yeah. Our friend Andrew.
his father was playing golf I'll have to ask him if I can use this on there but anyways, his father was playing golf down in Australia and with somebody was on the golf course and they got bit by a brown snake. And but previous to that, I'm sorry, previous to
you've
the
ruined
snake,
the story. I've heard this story.
Yeah.
You've ruined the punchline.
Fuck. Hey guys,
You got to go early on in the day.
early he got this guy got hit in the chest by a golf ball, like someone, and it hit him in the chest, hit him really hard. Whatever, they kept playing golf. Then later on, he gets bit by a brown snake, like in a sand trap or something like
It's a bad
that.
day.
Then they airlift him out of there. Yeah, this guy's getting hit by a golf ball and get bit by a brown. They airlift him out. They called like the clubhouse. They airlift him out of there, take him to the hospital. They treat the brown snake wound. He's fine, anti-venom, and then he goes, hey, what's wrong with your chest? Whatever. He goes, no, I just got hit by a golf ball. They look at it. They put him into emergency surgery because he was about to die because he had like a broken blood,
His
something in his
heart had
heart.
shifted in his chest. Yeah.
So the brown snake saved his life.
Yeah, being
Wow.
bit.
Yeah.
If he wasn't bit by the brown snake, he would have died.
Yeah, I fucked.
So
the
that
story
should
up.
negate
We got it out there.
a killing somewhere else. From
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah.
This is how Forrest tells stories now. So he committed suicide in a bunker, and his name was Hitler.
Wait. Let me start at the beginning.
There was a bit before that. Hold on.
Terrible. I want to talk about so death adders. Those are snakes.
adder.
They're venomous as
The
well.
adder, the adder. Put that down on my list.
Yeah, there you go. Came up to you.
They're venomous. Can they kill you?
Yes,
Yeah,
they have a very high LD50,
Yeah.
but they're very small. I mean, so that snake, the biggest one is maybe 2 feet long. It'd be a big female. Males are usually in that 1 foot range. They've got very small fangs.
Huh.
So it would take a lot for you to get envenomated by a death adder. I mean, you'd have
like,
to reach down, pick it up, and try to get it to
Did you
bite
just
you.
say envenomated?
Envenomated. That's the technical term
fuck
for
me. I'm
venom
going to
put
be
in you.
using that word all day. You're going to hear me every time with my son going, yeah, you better watch out there. You could get envenomated.
You know why you
And
like
then
that
he'll be
word?
like, geez, Dad, you're clever. I am clever, son.
I know why
I'll
you
get
like that
bitten
word.
by that
It's-
snake.
It sounds like a word that you would make up,
Yep.
and then we'd be like, "That's not a real word," and
Yep.
then we'd look it up and be like, "Oh, Jim was right. Envenomated
Yeah,
was."
envenomated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was envenomated. Yeah, fuck, I'm going to use that.
So not a lot of people die from death adders then.
No.
Okay, not a lot of
They
people
don't-
dying because you got
They
the
don't
antivenom.
envenomate a lot of people.
Yeah. But I feel like they should change. Why did someone name them death adders? That's like already already.
No, you're pronouncing it as the deaf adders. Snakes don't have ears.
Ah, death adder. Okay.
And that's not a joke. That's the truth. So in Australia, they also call them deaf adders, DEAF. They do not
Yahtzee!
have ears.
I've envenomated this podcast with fun.
Give them what they want.
Get what they want.
They should just either call them adders, or if they're not really killing a lot of people, just change their name to something else.
No, we can't call them adders because they can't count either.
Got them.
Wow. So Jim said there's goannas. What are those?
One.
Goannas, also known as
Goanna.
monitor lizards. Those are the biggest lizards that live on land.
No, they're big ass lizards, the goanna.
You seen one?
Oh, yeah. I've seen plenty of goannas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen them out in the wild, yeah.
Are they dangerous?
If they beat
Yeah,
you.
well, I
if they
mean,
beat
they've
you.
got very sharp teeth. They've got very sharp claws. They don't usually chase people, but if you get a hold of them and they need to defend themselves, they can certainly lacerate your skin, and they can hurt pretty bad.
They
open you up.
keep to themselves. They sit on the side of a chair. They never really like hiss at you or anything like that. But they're big ass lizards.
When
But
people go
the-
after them with sticks, that's when you get in trouble.
Yeah, if you go after anything with a stick,
Yeah.
You're gonna get a bit. Yeah.
just a rule of thumb: don't poke anything with a stick.
Yep.
Leave every living creature alone.
Yeah,
with
what I'm
sticks.
hearing is like anybody who's ever been bitten by a snake, it's their fucking fault because
Yes,
they probably
that's exactly what you're
prompted it.
hearing.
Okay.
Well, also the goanna, the classic scene in Crocodile Dundee where he's cooking the big lizard on the spit and he's
Yeah.
turning around, and then she goes, "You can live with this." He goes, "Yeah, you can live with it, but it tastes like shit." And he opens the baked beans up. That's the goanna they were going to eat.
Anything, the whole stick poking, that is very true. Most people that get, I wouldn't say it, but the large majority of people that get injured by animals, I know, is generally their fault. And the number, at least in Florida it was, I don't know worldwide, but shark bites, there's a shark called a nurse shark, and it just has two big kind of like fangs, and
Plates. They've got these plates in their mouth.
it just like sucks up its food for the most part. It doesn't really, it couldn't kill you. A nurse shark couldn't kill you, but it is like the top, like as far as bites, people getting bitten by sharks, it's the number one because people go up and fuck with it because they're like, oh, it's a nurse shark, it can't, and they'll yank on its tail or something, and it turns around and it'll put these two fangs in, and it will cause some damage and injury. You can get a nasty infection, whatever. And people have come in the shore with a nurse shark like attached to their arm and stuff. It's not gonna kill you, but it always bites, and they're like, yeah, I don't know why it bit me. Oh, because you're an asshole. That's why it bit you.
Natural
So.
selection.
Yeah, well, they stay alive, unfortunately.
Ugh.
Do you know what a thorny devil is, Jim?
A thorny devil is a type of lizard.
Yeah, it's an Australian
Yeah,
lizard.
It's a lizard, yeah.
They're adorable. But that's another one that has a name that's like, why do they call them thorny devils? Just because people are afraid of them?
Yeah, because their appearance is so horrid. But then when you realize, if you see a picture of the thorny devil, And you're like, oh, and its scientific name is Moloch horridus, which is, Latin for like the devil. And then when you actually see it, it's like, this tiny little 3-inch lizard that only eats ants.
They're really cute.
But it's covered in
Look at that
spikes
thing.
and horns.
Oh, yeah, that's an ugly, disgusting looking
That
thing.
looks so cute.
How good is the frill neck, though, eh?
Oh.
How good's the frill?
The frilled lizard. The frilled lizard,
The frill neck lizard is your number one.
Number one, what?
It's your
Cuteness?
best. It's your best one. Even in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, they're dressed as a frill neck lizard. He pops the collar up at the end. Oh, they're a wonderful one. I think they're on the back of one of our coins.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
They
looking
can
at
run
it
on
now.
their back feet. That's what's really cool.
Yeah,
about frilled
they
lizards.
run up high. They get their back feet up and they have their hands up like this. Google a frill neck lizard running. You won't see more joy in your life.
Oh man, National Geographic has got a lot of running frilled dragons.
Do they? Are they
You
the
call them
ones that-
frill dragons, not frill neck lizards?
We here in the Midwest, we refer to them as frilled dragons.
Well,
Are these the ones that run on water? They're called Jesus Christ lizards.
Nope, that's the basilisk from South America.
Oh, all right, yeah.
Dumbass.
Different thing, but they are bipedal.
Bipedal.
Did you find me a
Bipedal.
frill neck lizard running?
Oh, a video? We could put one on the YouTube thing.
Yeah, you can.
We'll put
They're
one over.
Bloody wonderful they are.
Louis would love to do
Before
that.
you see it, get your cocks out. You're going to need it. that's how fun this video is.
It says the frilled neck lizard, also known as commonly as the frilled lizard or the frilled dragon. Frilled agama. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, frill neck lizard, man.
What other
There
Australian?
you go. No, you got to see them running on their back legs. And then there you go. There he goes. Up he goes.
It's an amazing sight.
What other? See, there's 500. How many different types of geckos? 50.
50.
Oh, I mean, I
said there might be
There's
50.
at least 50 or 60 different types of gecko on that
You
continent.
know the one I'm talking about that kicks its tail off, right, though? They all kick
There's lots of species of lizard in Australia that do that. Some of them aren't geckos either. There's different species of Agurnia.
I used to try to
skink.
save the geckos from the cats eating them. And the geckos, they just hissed at me, and I get them in a dustpan, and I throw them off the balcony.
The gecko.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know you're trying to save them. They think you're just this giant thing about to squish them
yeah.
or eat them.
So as a herpetologist, do you find there's a reputation of Australia, like a lot of things can kill you and so forth, but clearly not a lot of people are dying, at least from reptiles every year.
From a herpetologist standpoint, Australia is the holy grail.
What do you mean?
Like
What do you
that's
mean?
where all the best stuff is.
It's-
Every herpetologist wants to go to Australia because they got the best stuff there. And back in the 70s, the government locked the country down, and they said, we're not taking any of our animals away from us to go put in the pet trade. And so it's really hard to work with Australian stuff. And so it's just like all of us in America, we just want to get to Australia and see the Parenti, this big giant zebra looking goanna, and
It's a wonderful place, Australia.
it's a
Wonderful.
wonderful place for reptiles and amphibians.
Oh, it's a wonderful place. No, nothing. It's a wonderful country.
Except for the Aboriginals.
Oh, there's been a few atrocities, a few human rights problems. Wonderful.
Well,
Hey, no place is perfect, right?
but what? So they're not allowed to take animals out of Australia and to around the world.
The export. That's why
I
no
was
zoo
the
has
last
the
one they let
platypus.
out. Australia.
What were you saying, Jesse? That
Yeah, they don't. There's that government has locked that continent down. That's why we don't have koalas in every U.S. zoo. That's why we don't have platypus. That's why we don't have echidnas, because you only a few zoos in the last 40 years have been able to export animals out of there. It's very rare.
After the bushfires, I bet you we're sad we didn't do that. We could have. We lost a lot of.
There
animals.
was some talk in the zoo community, how can we help? But literally, where I'm from, I am as far away from Australia as possible on this planet. So I can't do much good except send a few bucks.
No, well, England's far further.
Send them to the London Zoo.
But the did we lose during those fires? Because those fires were, in my lifetime, I've never seen fires worse on the planet. Right, that was the worst fires we've ever seen anywhere on Earth. Did we lose any species that you know of?
So I'm not aware of any data that's been published by field biologists that go out and count and to really look at what the damage is. But we do know that Mother Nature is incredibly resilient. They are, some of those animals are hardwired to get away from fires, to go underground, the fire burns right over. There's lots of ways for animals to live through that. Not enough to save every single one. I mean, you're going to lose a good chunk of your population. But if, as the environment comes back, the animals will come back too. But no, I'm not aware of any published data to show that it was a 100% crash in certain species.
You know, I've heard pretty dramatic numbers on what animals we lost, but I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you put pig-nosed turtle in here?
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
I don't know. I Googled it.
I think
Also known as the fly river
but
turtle.
also,
See? It's real.
also, what is not in that name that you don't know what it is? It's a pig-nosed turtle. It's a turtle with a fucking nose like a pig, man.
What?
I could draw one for you right now. There, you pig-nosed turtle.
Yeah.
He's not that cute.
As advertised.
He's cute. How's he not cute?
He needs a
Your
nose
standards are
job.
too high. You'll die alone.
If he gets a nose job,
That's
he's not a
true.
pig-nosed turtle anymore. He's just
Just a turtle.
a nosed turtle.
Well, they have flippers. That's what's interesting about the pig-nosed turtle is they're one of the only freshwater turtles that has flippers.
Oh, yeah?
Really? I thought they all had flippers. Well, the rest
Now
of them,
they've got
they're
hands and they
walking
might
around
have
on the-
webbing.
Oh, they got little hoofy hands.
They got webbing. That a lot of
Right.
them
So
say,
you've
right?
got your sea turtles, the ones that live in the ocean. Those are the ones that have the big flippers. And so the pig-nosed turtle, also known as the fly river turtle, it has flippers and lives in freshwater. And all the other freshwater turtles have just sort of claws.
When I was in Hawaii, I was in Maui, and I was in an area that was meant to be loads of turtles, and I saw a few on the beach, and then I went out and I was standing in the water, and then a turtle knocked me down.
Whoa.
Came and swished me whole feet from underneath me, swimming on the shore. A big giant one. Did the turtle enjoy that?
Probably not. It was probably being thrown by the current and bumped into you, and then it thinks you're probably going to take a shovel to it.
Oh,
so.
I fell hell over tit. I fell onto its shell, then I rolled around, and then it looked back at me like, hey, I'm swimming here.
Shout out to Tommy Caprio. on
Tommy
that one.
Caprio.
New York turtles. Went a long ways. All right, Jessi. This is a part of the show where we give our guests dinner party fact. The expert gives us a fact, obscure, interesting, and the audience can use to impress people. Now, we already sort of mentioned this, but there's a couple parts to it. So the first part was what you had already said about snakes, and you didn't mention lizards, but that they have...
two penises. Snakes and lizards, all saurians, have two penises.
Do they have two vaginas, the female snakes?
Nope. And it's not called the vagina, it's called the cloaca. It's one hole, and all the business is done in this one hole.
That's the same thing that I call my vagina.
That's the fact that how convenient would it make that? You can stop asking for anal because you already get
Right.
everything.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, that's why I say there's one hole, and that's where all the business
Is
gets
it also
done.
a mouth?
There is, but there's
don't
no.
do oral.
That's not necessary
I
in the
wouldn't
animal
have to
world.
move at all.
Okay, and
Watching
so
me walk around with a snake on my dick. It's just, I got an erection, it's just dangling off the end. It's been dead for years.
so they have two penises. So then, Jim,
I'm gonna fuck a snake. That's my takeaway.
here's a question, Jim. How many penises do turtles and crocodiles have?
Oh, I've always wondered this about the turtle. Where does its little dick come out of the shell? I'm going to say that crocodiles and turtles have the one as well.
One, just one.
Yeah, just one.
Okay.
That's right, just
That's
one, and it's actually called a phallus. We don't really call it penis because it doesn't actually have a true urethra, like a tube that runs through it. It's kind of folded over like this to create the illusion of.
Yeah,
we just call it a phallus. But yeah, there's only one, and it's
that's what
inside the
penises
body
look
and
like. It's
pops
just
out when it's needed.
Okay, so all right, so
It's
here
not
you go, Jim.
deformed. Some girls like that. That's
Yeah,
what penises
just
look like.
pops out when it's needed.
Penises look like that.
Lizards and snakes have two penises. Turtles and crocodiles have one. So how many do frogs have?
Frogs have none because they mate internally. They
Jesse?
can
Change that last word.
they can impregnate themselves. They
What's
lay
the
that
opposite of internal?
externally. They mate externally.
That's it.
Jim did it.
Wow.
So they have
External
no.
fertilization.
Yeah.
So
Didn't
how do?
think I'd fucking know that, did you, people?
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Got
So
a bit angry on this podcast.
Yeah. So here's a question. So at where you work, or at a zoo, or where you work, how do you in order for the snakes to reproduce? Jim was talking about that. Like, do they have sex or fuck or whatever? How does that? Do you guys? They just do it, or do you?
No, they make love for us.
Yeah. Or do you guys have to help them?
So we have to change so snakes have reproductive activity based on changing environment. So summertime, fall, certain environmental changes, the heat goes up, the rain starts, that's what cues animals to do reproduction. So we mimic those here at the zoo. So we'll drop the lights and we make it seem like it's kind of like a dark dreary winter for a few
Barry
months.
White.
Literally like humans.
That's for the frogs. Since snakes don't have ears, Barry White doesn't count.
It's
have
raining
ears.
outside.
And then
It's autumn. Let's get it on.
That's Marvin Gaye.
Snake style.
I like that Jessi knew that was Marvin Gaye. But
Yeah, because he knows he tried that. That does nothing.
Marvin
They don't
Gaye
have
was-
The
ears.
snakes won't even fuck you. Put that on. They're all talking around, going, "You hear his father shot him? It's true."
And so if they don't reproduce themselves, then you guys have to artificially inseminate them. Is that
Well, that's a very new technology that we actually started developing here. We had to come up with-
technology?
It's a new technology.
Yeah,
Yes. So artificial insemination in people and cattle, in any industry where there's a lot of money, it's been like just knocked out. People know how to do it, but nobody cares about snakes. So we've had to develop those techniques here. So we have to learn how to extract the sperm we've done it with 23 different species of snakes. Some of them are even venomous.
What were you just doing?
He was
This is called the
extracting
massage
sperm.
technique.
That's how you jerk off a
You
snake?
get the
So the
tockley
snake-
and you go like this.
Right. So the front and
Yes.
top of the
That's how-
cloaca.
that's how
So
I
I'm
extract
going to grab
my
the
sperm.
snake and then I'm going to have the thumbs above and below the cloaca.
Uh-huh.
And then we do a massaging motion like this.
Yeah, you do that.
And then that will loosen things up. And then the sperm comes and pools right at the edge of the cloaca.
You know what-
And
you
so
know
you
what's
get a
good?
big syringe and you suck it up.
As soon as you make the snake come, it's very easy to be like Fonzie and go, "Hey, I nailed it."
And do the snakes enjoy this?
Of course they do. They just came.
Based on our research, they do not mind it.
Yeah, they have a movement called the Me Too Dicks.
So far from snakes, no complaints. So
Tickled your forest.
It was. I like that one. All right, Jessi. Before you go, actually, you did tell me that you've done
He's wanked off snakes, man.
stand up.
He's
Did you?
wanked
Or
off
you've done
snakes.
some comedy, right? You did some animal-based comedy. We'd like to hear one joke from you.
How many zookeepers does it take to change a light bulb? This is where you say, I don't know. How many zookeepers?
I don't know.
many
How
does it take?
I'm trying to think of the answer.
How many zookeepers does it take to change a light bulb?
None. We make the elephants do it.
Ah,
How many elephants does it take to change a light bulb? Don't.
One.
I don't know. How many
Human-
elephants does it take to change a light bulb?
One. Because the humans.
One, because they're really fucking smart.
Yeah. Elephant.
so far, according to the research, the snakes really enjoyed his comedy.
Jessi, is there anything you'd like to say before you go? I know you wanted to say a few things.
Yeah, I want to plug for all local zoos. For anybody out there that's watching the podcast, please support your local zoo. We are in just as much trouble as any industry out there. People aren't coming to the zoo because they're being cautious. And when people don't pay tickets and they don't buy the fuzzy animals and the stuffed bears at the gift shop, that makes it hard for me to get paid. It makes it hard for us to feed the animals. So if you feel safe and your zoo is open and they're doing the correct things, please support your local zoo.
Yeah,
Because zoos do good things.
I'm a big supporter of the zoos. A lot of people give zoos a bad rap. I date a vegan who very anti-zoo, and
Yeah,
I tried to explain to her that zoos are the same as restaurants. McDonald's is still called a restaurant, and a Michelin star place is still called a restaurant, and you can't go all restaurants are bad. Of course, there are bad zoos. There are also excellent zoos that are helping with conservation and
That's right.
and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. We
So-
did a piece on the Jim Jefferies show.
Yeah. I'm pro good zoo. I'm anti bad zoo.
Yeah, so no.
Right, and I would say that if you go at a bad zoo, I mean, and common sense dictates, if you see something that just doesn't look right, call them out.
Yeah.
Like if you're at my zoo and you see something that doesn't look right, let somebody on that staff know, like, hey, that turtle hasn't moved in 3 minutes. You know,
Yeah.
whatever. Please let me know.
Did you like Tiger King? Was that a good zoo?
No.
After the second episode, I had to throw up because I felt so guilty being part of the industry.
Oh.
And then I realized that
I thought it was
I'm
just
not part of that exact industry. Like it is, like you said, there's good restaurants, bad restaurants. the word zoo is all encompassing. It's like it doesn't distinguish between research based facilities that are putting animals back in the wild versus places where you go to have your picture taken with a tiger cub.
Yeah.
They're very different.
I vomited after 2 episodes because I felt so ashamed of myself because I'd come like 12 times.
It's okay, Jim. You didn't have to do another coming joke. So it's okay, guys. All right, Jessi Krebs. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you very much. It was very informative.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I think I learnt stuff today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take us out, Jim. There.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. If you're at a party and some cunt comes up to you spouting off information that may or may not be true, you just say, well, I don't know about that, and you walk away. Good night, Australia. Fill your next lizard.
Perfect ending.